there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com with the final match, match number 5, with the Soul Sisters. This one is going to be against Grixis Delver, which, again, I consider a pretty significantly favored for Soul Sisters here, especially how I have built this Soul Sisters deck. Mainly Auriok Champion being the key card against the Grixis Delver list. And then we also have a lot of Soul Sisters return the ranks. We have a Wrath of God that is particularly good against the Grixis Delver using the Angler and the Tassiger, as they can have a quite a significant board, and then a Wrath of God can get all that in the graveyard, and then return the ranks can get everything back. So I think that UR Delver is, or even Rug Delver might be, they're all pretty bad matches for against Soul Sisters, though. Maybe Grixis is the better one because it can still get out that fast Tassiger that can be problematic. So he starts out with a Delver Secrets. That is the way that Delver wins, is a first turn Delver flip and a second turn Delver. They can get so far ahead with that draw. But I mean, that's why they've banned a lot of cards like Ponder and Preordained, is to stop that from happening in the format. So I'll just go ahead and Windbrisk Heights first turn, find Awe of the Pure, and he finds a Watery Grave and attacks him for 3. He keeps up his mana, so I think that he's probably got a mana leak. Throw out a Soul Warden, and yes, indeed, he does have a mana leak. So looking good for him. Thought Scour finds a Tasker underneath with a Thought Scour. That's not how he wanted that to go, but he still gets in for 3 and has an Angler anyways. So is able to exile his graveyard, and that's a turn 3 5/5. Not a bad play. I'd draw into a Flagstone and can easily just go Auriok Champion, but there you go. It completely just shuts down his Angler. His Angler is now a pointless card, can't attack in to an Auriok Champion. I just block. He can't remove this with the Lightning Bolt, so he's going to have to rely on Delver to keep pinging me away. He has 3 cards left in hand, and Serum Visions are going to be good. It's going to fill back up his graveyard for a Tassiger. They usually run 2 or 3 Tassigers. A lot of lists I've been seeing lately have 3 Tassigers in it. I continue to hit lands, which is really good, which allows me to put out a Pridemate. And if he counters this one, at least the other one can hopefully stick, unless it's a Mana Leak and a Spell Snare in his hand. But he doesn't have the Mana Leak, but he does have the Kolaghan's Command. And this is where I absolutely love Secure the Waste. So I decide, okay, what is the most powerful thing here? I let this die and discard a Serra Ascendant, then what? Cast an Ajani's Pridemate and have a Pridemate up to a 3/3, which then can get Lightning Bolted. Or I can immediately Secure the Waste and get this above Kolaghan's Command, still discard either Pridemate or a Serra's Ascendant, and then have a Spectral Procession for the next turn. So I decide the best line of play is I'm going to be discarding a Serra's Ascendant, and I'll Secure the Waste in response to this spell to get above the Kolaghan's Command. And I don't think he sees this coming whatsoever. So we will just Secure the Waste for 1. And so it's even weaker than a Raise the Alarms in this case, but it does the job. I've done Secure the Waste in response to my opponent thinking he's swinging in for lethal too, and putting a bunch of dudes out. And it's just an amazing card in the format, I believe, in Modern. I'm liking Secure the Waste a lot more in Modern than I am even in Standard. So he does survive the Kolaghan's Command and is up to a 4/4 as well, and gained a life off of it. So we are not in any significant threat from the one Delver. If we can get a Spectral Procession to hit, then we're in great shape. And the thing is, he's tapping out here to basically show me he's got nothing left. He's getting pretty desperate just to cast a Serum Visions so that he can actually, or Snapcaster Mage, just so he can Serum Visions. Don't know if I quite agree with that play either. I think that just Snapcasting next turn into a command might be better. But now all he could have in his hand is a Spell Snare for the Ajani's Pridemate. I can completely just go crazy here with casting the Spectral Procession. And this land actually allows me to cast the Honor the Pure and the Spectral, and the Honor the Pure underneath as well if I want to go this route. Because I could attack him with everything and he could lose his... Oh, I messed this up. Okay, so I messed this up. I played a Flagstone of Trokair. before I actually tapped it for mana. So that was my bad. So here it's just going to basically show me that I am in a Spectral Procession. And I don't have the mana now. If I would have done that right, I would have the mana to activate the... I still wouldn't. But I at least have the mana to cast in a Giant's Pridemate first. But aside, I just might as well put some counters in this. Basically force his hand to block the Pridemate. And get a Snapcaster Mage at least out of the way. So his other Delver does flip. He needs to start attacking with these. Being a little bit nervous at this point because he could just find a Terminate, kill a Giant's Pridemate. I'm pretty far behind. But that's his last Serum Visions. One's actually exiled already. He's going to have a hard time digging through his deck now. And I'll just throw 2 Spirits in front of the Delver of Secrets. Might as well. I don't think I need these. I still have enough to attack in to get the Honor of the Pure. And I might as well save myself 3 damage. Make him react to this right now to let me know what's in his hand. And so I don't get blown out by some other surprise. Here he's got another Delver of Secrets, which is still getting me life. And I can just throw out my last Pridemate and still activate the Windbrisk Heights when I attack in. Decide to attack with Auriok Champion, so if he blocks with his Delver, I'm trying to bait him to block with his Delver on the Champion, and then be able to get the Honor of the Pure. Now, it's a little risky if he has a Mana Leak, then, yeah, I get blown out by the Mana Leak. But I know the Angler's going to have to go in front of the Pridemate, and the Honor of the Pure does indeed come in. Kills off 2 very key cards at this point for him trying to get back into this. And now we're into top deck mode with me at 12-12 out. So if it's not a Terminate, it's basically over, and he's still standing on a 4-4, a 2-2, a 2-2, and a 2-2. So he does have a Tasigur, which does pump up both my guys. And a Tasigur is quite weak. He can activate Tasigur, but then not cast anything after he activates the Tasigur. And he's going to have to block the 13-13, and most likely the 5-5 if I draw any significant card here. So I draw Return the Ranks. I'm like, okay, I can actually just let Auriok Champion die. I don't even need to worry about attacking with everything. This means I know he's going to block the Ajani's, or the, okay, it goes the Auriok Champion then. Yeah. Tasigur on the Pridemate. Yeah, that's fine. And then activates Tasigur, and I just gave him back, I believe it was a Young Pyromancer I gave him back. Sorry, it didn't stop long enough to see what we gave him back. And doesn't matter though, he's so far behind. And then I got the Return of the Ranks to actually get back the Auriok Champion and the 3 cards left in the graveyard. They all see each other. My Pridemates get huge. I don't think there's a way for him to draw like double Terminate here. I mean, maybe if he has, yeah, if he even has Terminate, Snapcaster, Terminate, he'd have to have another Black Source. And he does scoop. So at this point, I'm getting pretty excited. We're 1 game away to closing this out and getting the invite. We can start off just with a Soul Warden. And I saw this Bloodstained Mire and I'm like thinking, wow, this is going to be perfect. Burn usually is the one that runs Bloodstained Mire. Grixis Delver. Giant's Pridemate, that means he's got to respond to this. And he finds a Watery Grave and does have a mainboarded Spell Snare. But it allows us to still attack in for 1. Cost him a fetch and a shock, and he's down to a 16. And here we'll cast a Serra Ascendant, which gets Mana Leak. So he's got a nice little start. Windbrisk Heights, though, is the type of card that gets you back in these games versus the one versus one removal spells. And we'll get in there. He's down to a 15, so he's lost a 1/4 of his life. Steam Vents gets him down to 13, which he is able to cast Double Delver, putting me up to a 22, and basically saying, hey, there's no more counter magic left in my hand. Feel free to do what you want. Windbrisk Heights. Unfortunately, it's Windbrisk Heights because I would have loved a Ranger there or Double Honor. But this does allow us to put a Serra Ascendant underneath and then at least cast one of those Honor the Pures and swing in for 2, which he can make this trade if he wants to kill both of them. He absolutely is not going to go that route. I get very lucky with these Delvers not flipping and just hits in for 2. No play on his part. We have a Ghost Quarter now. We can easily cast the Ranger. I decide just to attack and to make him run like, if he's got like a Kolaghan's Command, he taps out, and he just decides to find a Spell Snare. That's okay. Snapcaster hits the Soul Warden, but he doesn't get double advantage out of the Snapcaster. And then we can Ranger here, as well as cast a Soul Attendant, and him not be able to Spell Snare. So definitely okay with that exchange. The Delvers do flip at this point, and he double Thought Scours himself, finds a ton of stuff. No lands, though. A lot of like juicy things in the graveyard, like another Snapcaster Mage. 2 more Snapcaster Mages, actually. And he swings in for 6. And then is able to get out an Angler, which is at this point something that is pretty problematic, but not with an Honor the Pure allowing me to have a Ranger as large as the Angler. So now the Ranger or the Angler can't really attack into the Ranger. I decide I'm going to be the aggressor. I have more power on board. I'm going to make you block with that Angler against my Ranger, which he does. And it is 11-9. He can't cast another creature spell or I gain a ton of life. And he needs to take care of one of these creatures, or else I'm going to be able to double activate on the Windbrisk Heights and have a Spectral Processions and a Serra's Ascendant, which will give me 9 life, 10, 11, 12. 12 life, putting it up to a 6-6. Now I draw into an Auriok Champion here. And before we go to the main phase, though, he does have a Snapcaster Mage and a Kolaghan's Command, which means that he can get back a Snapcaster Mage and make me discard because these guys are, the good thing about having the other Pure out is I'm out of range for the command doing 2 damage. But I still do to gain the lifelink off of the Snapcaster Mage coming into play. And I'm able to attack him with all of them. He can block with his insects. It doesn't matter. I know that I'm up to enough to get the Serra's Ascendant up to at this point, it's going to be an 8-8. So we can activate the Windbrisk Heights, find the Serra's Ascendant, or the Spectral Procession, and do the same for the Serra's Ascendant, having a 6-6 or an 8-8, wiping his board, and basically putting him into top deck mode, which isn't something that Delver at this point has a lot of answers left. I mean, we've taken care of Anglers that can't take care of an Ascendant, yeah, and a bunch of Flyers, and that is game. So reverse the order of the games there. You saw though that I was pretty easy to beat the Delver 2-0 here, and we're able to go 4-1 in the modern event. Now I'm going to go on the wrap-up video and I'm going to show you the prize support for it, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Soul Sisters build. This has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.